This young Eastern crafted gin took home global prizes, shining a light on the northeastern region of India. It won Master 2023 at the Spirits Business Awards in London. Their uniquely northeastern flavors and smooth palate have won them silver at the London Spirits Competition, silver at the World Gin Awards, among others. Presenting the greenest gin ever, the true charm of Cherrapunji in a bottle.
$110 brands, 55 countries, and one winning master. Well, Cherrapunji Eastern Craft Gin is officially the world's best. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to yet another edition of Shillong Buzz. I'm Aaron Lingdo. My guest this episode, born and raised in Shillong, Meghalaya, has traveled the world and looks for the best sustainability ideas from his travels. He believes that it is time for a disruption in this industry, both in terms of the way it is made and in terms of the way it is bottled. So what makes this gin so special? Let's find out. Please say hello to the CEO, Master Distiller, and the founder of Cherrapunji Eastern Craft Gin, Mr. Mayuk Hazarika. Mayuk, first of all, welcome to the program. 110 brands, 55 countries, and a winning master. This is a big first for you in the company, of course. How does that make you feel?
First of all, thank you for having me on Doordarshan. Pleasure to speak to you and the audience. And like I said, long time ago, I also have a Doordarshan connection. So it's very nice to speak to Doordarshan. Yes, 110 brands, from 55 countries, and that is one award in the 7 months of existence. In fact, we've won 6.
Right.
6 international awards in this short duration since launch. And it does feel good. It's a matter of pride, huge pride for me, because I was away for many years. I had left Shillong maybe by 2005-06, and coming back, starting something from here, and then taking it, at least getting global recognition and a lot of domestic traction. It really feels good.
Right. I did a little research, and allow me to quote.
Yeah.
The idea was not to make a London dry,
Yes.
but a Cherrapunji wet gin with local flavors designed for a global palate. Could you give us a little context?
Yes, so the idea is was when I started thinking about making the gin. So I used to live in Netherlands for some time, and
Right.
I had noticed what people really wanted. People were bored of the products which were there, at least in that part of the world. Like everything was becoming so let's say so normal. Everything was was status quo. So some people wanted products with a unique story, right? And it doesn't matter where that story came from. So as we know, UK and let's say rest of Europe was also the mainstay of gin. For example, gin was made, the first drink before gin was called Geneva.
Right.
It was made in Holland, and it was actually a fortified wine redistilled with botanicals, and that is the origin of gin. And gin was actually, and the British took it and made it better by using a grain spirit instead of using a fortified wine. So there, I think what the world was looking for was unique ideas, unique botanicals, especially in the area of gin. So my idea was that there's so many London dries, and these guys are good at making gin. So let them do it. Let's do what we are good at, right? And what we are good at is our place. In fact, the land is so fertile, so rich. We have different kinds of fruits, like things like sophie. It's not available anywhere, right? So why not use things from here, from the region? And I said, let's not limit it to only Meghalaya. Let's let the entire Northeast be the canvas of these rich botanicals. So, for example, we use the Sora mandarin, we use Kaji Nemu from Assam, we use the smoked cardamom from Sikkim, we use smoked tea, and then a host of botanicals all from the region. That's what makes it special. And then the idea of putting rainwater into it, that that really, you know, has gotten, I mean, like that's gotten, it's become a story in itself. And also, you know, packaging it in a stainless steel bottle, that's also added a lot of value to the consumer.
So we know it's gin.
Yes.
But then a lot of people are talking about, you know, you're saving water and then this reduction in carbon footprint,
Yes.
etc., etc. So what are you guys doing here that is so different as compared to, let's say, other units making the same product?
Yes. So the idea is by the end of probably, you know, another 15 months, 18 months down the line, we will be Asia's first carbon neutral distillery. And we've put in a lot of work behind it. And you're already beginning to see the fruits of it. And how do you become carbon neutral? So you reduce your footprint. So instead of using glass bottles, which weigh at least 3 to 4 times more than steel bottles,
Right.
we started using steel bottles. It's very unique. Nobody uses steel bottles. Also, it's reusable, right? So that's cut down your footprint. For example, when we load our trucks, we can ship more bottles in the same truck as opposed to glass bottles. So at least 30 to 40% more efficiency there. For example, we use our stills, the pot still that we use is made of stainless steel.
Right.
So if you use copper stills, they'll last you maybe 5-6 years. These stills go up to 20 years.
Okay.
So you are again reducing footprint. See, when you're going and, you know, sourcing locally and not importing all your botanicals, that's again reduced carbon footprint, right? Using rainwater instead of groundwater, that again you've cut down energy consumption completely. You know, there's this whole process of getting groundwater, filtering it, removing minerals. You've cut down on so many processes. So what that enables is that your entire carbon footprint goes down quite a lot. Has it been measured? It is in the process of being measured, and I'm very, very sure because we're already getting the benefits of it. For example, when we are shipping our consignment for exports, it goes in these containers which is called pallets. Our pallets hold 65% more than glass bottles.
Interesting. Yeah.
So in a pallet, we are able to hold up to 86 cases of Cherrapunji gin. And if your Cherrapunji gin would have been made in a regular glass bottle, it would have been 57 cases.
True.
So we can ship more,
Right,
and it's
right.
a good thing. And the bottle is of a certain value because it can be reused
Again and
again and again. So
Right.
yeah.
So I don't know if you have an answer to it. How much of rainwater is in that single
Yes.
bottle?
So the thing is that all of spirits, mostly, like, you know, if we talk about spirits, the base spirit is about 42.8%, and that's as per Indian, that's as per the government norm. The rest is distilled water.
Okay.
So that means you can say that rest 57% is all rainwater.
Right. Now let's talk ingredients, because I think that's one aspect that obviously the viewers would like to know.
Yes.
There's a little bit of spice, some smokiness in it. I'll let you do the job.
Yes. So yeah, so this is the bottle, and this is where all of these botanicals would go in, and it's obviously you know, distilled. So the first things first, this is juniper. These are juniper berries. We get different lots from different states. Mostly from Sikkim and Arunachal is where we get it. This is the berry that makes gin. Without juniper, there is no gin, right? So this is the main ingredient. Apart from that, we use very, very interesting botanicals. From the state, this is the mandarin peel. This is dried. This is toasted almost.
Right.
And then this is what goes and gives you those nice citrusy flavors. So this is what it gives. And also from Assam, the citrus hero is the Kaji Nemu. It's also again very, very popular. This is also a GI tagged ingredient. So this and the Khasi Mandarin both are GI tagged. So this again gives the very unique citrusy, sweet citrusy profile to the gin. Apart from that, what we have from the state is the Khasi pepper or somrit.
Somrit, yeah.
So this is again gives you those nice peppery notes, and again, as you know, these are all forest peppers. These are not commercially cultivated. So again, it adds value to the story, and to also, you know, it also delivers value to who we buy from.
True.
For example, the farmers are getting it from the fields or from the forest. So, and again, coming back to the ingredients, this is something. This is cardamom that comes from Sikkim. It is smoked. It's very, very flavorful. It gives those nutty, earthy flavors to the gin, or the smoky flavors to the gin. And coming back again to Meghalaya, another hero is from Garo Hills. This is the green cardamom, very, very different. When we started making the recipe of this, you know, the Dutch master distiller who we were working with, he said, I've never seen greener cardamoms than this. Like, and so flavorful. So yeah, this adds again the very nice, the base of the gin. So, you know, ingredients mostly from the region, and another ingredient that I like to talk about, this is tea. So, you know, sometimes these are from multiple estates we get this tea, but then, you know, we have defined a process of processing the tea. This is smoked. Okay. This is not your regular tea. So there's a way that we can get, and that's what translates into this nice, mellow, smoky flavors. So we smoke it with pine wood instead of, you know, regular wood. So what it does is gives you those piney notes in the gin.
See, there are a lot of flavors already.
Yeah.
So does this gin needs anything to go along with it, or can we just consume it as it is? What do you reckon?
This was designed as a sipping gin.
Okay.
Put your ice, not too much of it, as you like it. Add a nice sparkling water and you're done. And I would, if you like it sweet, you can add tonic, but if you don't even need tonic for this gin, because it's a sipping gin.
Okay.
On the rocks, if you like it, but I would recommend to add equal parts of water. So if you like it hard, and if you don't, just put some ice and some nice sparkling water, and you're done.
I want to talk a little bit about the mandarin, because I was thinking to myself, it's a seasonal fruit.
Yes.
Right. So how do you plug in the gap and, you know, make sure that your production does not stop because it's seasonal?
One of the biggest challenges is mandarin and the kachi nimbu. Both are seasonal.
Right.
So what needs to happen is we need to plan way in advance to get the fruits in time, peel it, process it, and keep it for the rest of the year.
Right.
And that's how you plan, because, you know, otherwise there's no way that you can plan production. So we do this on a yearly basis. So yearly would mean probably from November to up until actually March, the last harvest happens.
Right.
Late March.
I want again to take you back to the bottle, because that bottle is fascinating not only to me but to a lot of people watching.
Yes.
I want you to walk us through the illustration A, and more importantly, the story behind it.
Okay, so this is a stainless steel bottle. First of all, as I've already told you, it's all steel on the inside, as you can see, and it's got a nice coppery finish on it. And stainless steel is, by the way, one of the most durable materials for alcohol. Most of alcohol like this is all produced in stainless steel and also stored in stainless steel. So a lot of people get confused and ask me, is it copper, will copper react? I said, there's no copper in this. It looks like copper on the outside because of copper paint. The illustration again is very interesting. It is done by a friend of mine in the US. And why did I choose him? Because I think he's one of the best illustrators in the world. And the whole idea was to translate the place in a very visual story. For example, when you talk about the mandarin, we wanted to put the farmer as the hero, the people who go and actually pick the oranges. You know, from Sora they have to go down 45 minutes deep into the forest and then bring it up in the core, right? So, you know, therefore I really wanted the farmer to be the hero. I mean, we didn't need a brand ambassador and we couldn't afford one. Why not? Why not have a farmer? And then that's the central hero. And then just like Starbucks has the mythical lady, we have a real one. Right? The clouds,
and of course, the
clouds, the roosters have to do, you know the significance of it.
Right.
A Bedford bus Smith, which we all fondly know as, and I'm talking about specifically the Bedford bus, which had the long nose outside, and which we would all, you know, in fact, I remember going to school, paying some 2 rupees, fare. And you know, these are the red pandas from Garudas. Very few of them remain. And in fact, our distillery is called the House of Mr. Fulgens.
Okay.
You know why? Because the scientific name of the red panda is Ailuris fulgens, and we wanted to dedicate, you know, because it's again something that is going extinct, the animal. So we wanted to dedicate this distillery to Mr. Fulgens. So we call our still Mr. Fulgens, as you can see, Mr. Fulgens. So Mr. Fulgens is who produces the gin.
Right. So I want you to talk a little bit about it, because see, it's a niche domain, if you will, and it's not easy to get all of it here. What are some of the challenges that you face? But before we get into the challenges, what do we have here first of all?
So this is a still. What is a still? Basically, a still is what manufactures the entire, you know, the spirit. Right. So, for example, you can see a huge column running up. This is a fully automated still. So, you know, you can make any spirit that you like here, like any spirit. This is where the botanicals go in from. The botanicals are poured in, and the spirit is already filled in through the pipes from the tanks it comes. It is shut, and then this is how we switch on our run at so this is how we switch on. Maybe it's not heated up, so once it's heated up we can start the run. And what it does essentially is all these botanicals that you see here, it goes into the thing, it's heated up, there's a whole distillation process, the whole flavors are come back to the neutral spirit. And that's what you actually call the gin, and it's stored for at least almost close to 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Because we just want it to be rounded and smooth, so that it keeps collecting as we keep producing, and that's what your final output is, and it gets diluted with rainwater further.
Right.
So rainwater is not put in here, but it's a dilution agent.
Coming back to my question, some of the challenges that you encountered while setting all of this up.
Yes, one of the biggest challenges is that it's a challenging geography. Why? Because again, it rains all the time. If you're in a hill station, to even move your goods and all, it takes far longer than if you're in a place which is connected better. For example, if you have commercial, let's say cargo or things like that, which is closer to you, it's much easier. And so one of the things is it's a challenging geography. But not only that, when I wanted to make a gin or let's say a spirit, first of all, you wouldn't get many people who are knowledgeable in this domain. So getting knowledge or getting people was the most challenging aspect. Equipment, for example, this has been imported from Europe. We had to do it because we cannot, and that's why it's fully automated, because we could not afford 15 people to get 15 people to do this. So this whole still requires only one person to run it, and one person and 2 helpers probably. That's all it is, as opposed to other production which is people intensive. So if you were to produce here, one of the biggest challenges is getting people to come here and work here, because obviously it's again a very different part of the country. People who are working in distilleries in Goa, they don't want to come and work here. So you have to train a lot of people, and then also when we got the machinery from Europe, we have to retrain the people to work on these machines.
True. So Mayuk, if I'm not mistaken, you've got a couple of rain harvesting facilities, one at Mausan Ram and the one here at Umiam that we're here. Tell us a little bit about what's behind you.
It's very low level science actually.
Okay.
It's nothing but rain falling on the top, getting filtered, and 50,000 liters of rainwater being continuously harvested. Anybody can do it at home. You can do it for your home purpose. So it's not high tech. It's just that it's just a modern tank and with modern facility. The idea is not the equipment itself. The idea is the process or the intention behind it, of how you get the rain. You take the rain, and then obviously there's a filtration system. You filter it, and then you use it to dilute the concentrated spirit. So I get asked this question a lot about why rainwater, why not groundwater. So that is the most important part. So I mean, the why is more important than the how. So like I was saying earlier, getting rainwater is actually reducing your carbon footprint. We are in a rain excess area, and not all of us actually think about conserving rainwater. In fact, one of my biggest whys, if you were to ask me, in 2014 I remember reading an article on New York Times saying that the wettest place on earth is running dry, where people have to go for kilometers to pick up water, and it was a major source of inspiration. I said, now the world knows that the wettest place on earth, you don't have water.
True.
And it does become a problem, because Cherrapunji is a place you don't have too many water holding bodies, I guess. The water all flows down to Bangladesh, and during dry season I think there is some scarcity. And the point was not to highlight that scarcity. The point was to say that if we can do this, if we can conserve rain in the rainiest place on earth, you should definitely do it in the other places, right? Because there's so much natural resource available, right, in terms of rain. For example, we're a monsoon dependent country, and most of manufacturing should be using rainwater instead of groundwater, and that was the point essentially, right? If you want to, why don't you cut down on your carbon emissions by not taking out groundwater, not reducing the water table, and then using. And that's why I said it's very low-level tech. Everybody has access to it. Like you can do it in your roof.
You can do that. So let's keep technology aside for now. I want you to talk to us a little bit about people behind the scenes, because I'm sure it's not a one-man army. It takes a village. Why don't you let us into that little secret, if you will?
Yeah. So when it comes to the team here, I mean, like, so the factory is very, very well run. I'll probably introduce you to the team members. But yes, the factory is run here. I have set up my corporate office in Delhi. The reason for that is because I want to scale it up to a global level, and I wanted to attract most of the talent in terms of what is available from the liquor industry itself, as in the top level talent, and then the idea was to export it. So I control the corporate operations. I spend about 15 days here in a month. The factory operations is run by my co-founders and the factory team. And in terms of when you say it takes a lot, yes, it does take a lot because it's not a one-man show. In fact, liquor is one of the most challenging industries in terms of licenses, moving from state to state. So it's not that I just want to launch and I can launch all over India. There's a certain process to registering in each state, waiting for the right time, and then for it to go through. So yes, so I have a sales team, I have an excise team, I have a production team. So there are various departments within our organization to ensure that we scale to a global company from Meghalaya. Because the idea is to scale from here. The idea is to set a benchmark, so that because I really want other people to follow me, to copy me here. I'd be happy if there are 10 of us here, so that this becomes like a hub. Like Goa has become a hub for Alcobev. I really think that Meghalaya has the potential to be an Alcobev state.
True.
And I think also with so many good policies and etc. that are coming, I think we should be able to I see this as a huge potential, because remember that we are a tourism dependent state, and then Goa is also that, and people go to Goa to discover obviously the natural beauty of it. And people also discover the local indigenous spirits or even the gins or whatever is locally made. And I think we have a huge potential of probably having something like that, if not copying that model, but having Alcobev as a part of a tourism experience.
Speaking of launches and the way you want to market it from outside Meghalaya, you've already launched here in the state. We know it's already available. You launched in Assam in December last year, if I'm not mistaken.
December is when we registered. I think we started selling from April onwards.
Okay. And then you're planning to launch it in the metros sometime this year, am I correct?
Yes. We are also available in Arunachal Pradesh, and I think our first batch of exports also are underway.
Okay. Let's talk about the metros. How excited are you?
I'm fully excited because most of our queries on Instagram or personally also that I get is from the metros. And there's a huge buzz, and also the fact that this comes with the backing of solid, let's say, recognition or global recognition of the product. So with all the 6 awards that we have gotten, I think there's a lot of interest in what is the spirit coming out from a very remote part of the country, because people were not.
There's that intriguing factor.
Yeah, it's an intriguing factor, because a lot of people do come to this part of the country. A lot of people can't come to this part of the country. So if they can have a piece of the place in their own backyard or in their own home bar, why not?
So how has your marketing and advertising background helped you in making all of this possible?
See, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, the liquor, most of liquor or most of any product is about good storytelling, right? And that's my whole.
I like how you put it, storytelling. Yes, yeah.
So for me, it was all about having a story around the product, and the story works well because it's true, because it's genuine. Because see, we are not known to be a Alcobev major producing state, and it was a surprise for people. But people are so intrigued to come to this part of the country. So many people, like I said, cannot make it here, and if they can have a piece of it, and piece of rain, piece of the botanicals, piece of that feeling of rain, and talking about the feeling, the name Cherrapunji, because it's something that people resonate or read in textbooks about. Not only in India, globally it's been known as Cherrapunji. In fact, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, why didn't you call it Sora instead of Cherrapunji?
That was my next question anyway.
See,
yes.
Great. I anticipated it.
Why Cherrapunji gin and not Sora gin? Come on, let's hear it.
Yes. I get, like I said, I get asked this question a lot, and I think the answer was like I said, the previous one, because the school textbooks all had Cherrapunji as a name, and Cherrapunji is actually a feeling, because feeling of the rainiest place on earth. Technically, it's Mausan Ram, which is actually the rainiest place on earth.
Thank you so much for clarifying that for us.
Yeah. But the thing is that, because see, aerial distance-wise, it's just probably 5 miles away. Aerial distance-wise, of course, by the road, maybe about 3-4 hours. But I think the geography of the place is the same, right? Cherrapunji plus Mausan Ram is equal to the rainiest place on earth, if you were to put, both together. So the whole idea that it is actually known as the rainiest place on earth, which is very good. Of course, it shifted to Mausan Ram, but the tag always stuck with people. Also, I was making a gin, and if you remember, Cherrapunji was named by the British because they could not pronounce it, and gin and the British have a connection, right? Like I said, it's the home of gin.
Right.
And I thought it'd be very interesting. Even the Brits would remember.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So before we get to taste Cherrapunji gin, let me hear it from you. What's the best way, rather the right way, if you will, to drink gin, in your opinion as the CEO?
Perfect serve is 30 ml of Cherrapunji gin.
Okay.
Add a block of ice, just a block. I mean, that's the way I like it. Top it up with a good sparkling water. My personal favorite sparkling water is Perrier. It's a French sparkling water, and I think it'll be sorted for some
Sounds
time.
good to me. Anyway, Mayuk, it's been an insightful conversation. Thank you so much for your time, for having my team over. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Team Doordarshan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In Mayuk's own words, Cherrapunji gin is not just a beverage. It is a curated experience that brings the flavors of the Northeast in your glass. And I couldn't agree more. I'm Aaron Lingdo. You're watching Shillong Buzz. Until our next episode, sip responsibly.